In 1972, Record Mirror magazine put out a David Bowie special, which is this one. A lot of Bowie fans will already have it, I'm sure. If you are old-time fans from the 70s, nearly every Bowie fan bought this when it came out. Not easy to get hold of now and quite pricey in decent condition. You're probably looking at least, well, I don't know, I've seen them on websites for over £100, some of them. A poorer condition one might cost you about £25. There is a poster in the middle as well, and there aren't many left with a poster in the middle, so that would put the price up. Anyways, complete Bowie content. It was 25p. I can't remember the month in 1972, but it was later in 72 rather than earlier. So I'll go through most of this actually for you so you can see all of it. It's quite a decent size, as you can see. And a bit of a waste of space there probably, but hey, you know, there's a little picture of Bowie in the middle there. And it's our hero from Mars. It just tells you all about him, who he is, what he's done, and what's coming up in the future. And a lot of these photos are from the Rainbow Theatre gig in August 72, which was quite a legendary gig. Actually, there was a couple of them. So that one certainly is. And I'm guessing that's Mick Rock who took that one. Let the children use it, so they use some headlines there from lyrics of Bowie's. And obviously with Bowie through the ages again here. An advert obviously for Hunky Dory and Ziggy. And available soon, 2 albums specially imported from the USA, which is Space Oddity and Man Who Sold the World, which were re-released of course, and some older pictures of Bowie there as well. And things like he's white and he picks his real friends very carefully. Bit of a strange thing to say really. The Cosmic Yob, that's quite a famous headline from 1972, and they're talking here about his live performances and how exciting they are, how great they are, and how visual they are. And then this one here has some very small photos of him from Virgin Soldiers, which are these over here, and obviously his mime ones there as well. Quite a few little photos there. And moving on, that's the poster from the centre. Pretty good one, I really like that one. But most of the copies of this that you'll find won't have the poster in, because nearly everybody took the poster out in the middle and shoved it on their wall. So quite difficult to get hold of the poster these days. And in fact this one isn't in perfect condition. It's got a tiny rip there and a tiny rip there. And then the discography of David Bowie, so his singles, even though it's not actually complete here at all. It's got Man Who Sold the World, Space Oddity, World of David Bowie, which was a reissue of course of old stuff. Space Oddity, Laughing Gnome single, but again it hasn't got everything on there. It hasn't got Liza Jane on there for a start. And this is a well-known Bowie picture of course, which eventually graced the Man Who Sold the World album. And some more photos again, these are from the Rainbow 1972. A lot of people I remember cut these up and put the pictures like that, for example, on their wall. So there can't be that many of these around these days, I wouldn't have thought. Fairly good photo there of Woody, Trevor Bolder and Mick Ronson and Bowie. And I can remember friends of mine having these pictures on their walls and just cutting the whole thing up. And what's coming next? What's he going to do next? And ends with a pretty good colour photo of him on the back there. So that's Record Mirror Special Edition 1972. I'll move on now. This is one of the rarest magazines I've got, which is Titbits. Titbits was a weekly magazine. It was just a throwaway type thing. It was quite cheap, 5p, and it had TV in it and gossip and just general throwaway sort of content really. But this particular cover I love. There's a feature on glam rock, Bowie on the front cover, and is glam rock just a drag? And the answer apparently is in the centre pages. So we'll go to the centre pages, and obviously it's got Mott the Hoople, Roxy, Alice, Elton John and Bowie. But that is a very rare magazine. You won't find many of those around, and that would be pretty pricey if you had to buy that these days. Saturday Tidbits. Moving on, I'm not going to do all of these. I'm just going to do some of them. And I picked that one out simply because of the stupid cover. So that's February 1974, 15p, music scene. Rock Theatre with Alice there in Bowie's head. There's a advert there for Lulu Man Who Sold the World single as well, and a black and white picture. And we've got Bowie set for 2 West End shows. Apparently, one of them's Diamond Dogs, of course, well, based on George Orwell's novel, which didn't come off, as we know. And then there's some letters at the back, and I've got a couple here. These are fan letters. I'm crazy over Bowie, although in New Zealand we've never had the chance to see him. It's a great shame. But as the pictures you printed of him are so fantastic, I feel I've seen him live. And the other one is basically slagging off a review of Pin-Ups, which had happened a couple of weeks before. And they weren't very keen on the poor review of it. And basically it's compared with Ziggy Stardust. They feel that this magazine felt that it was a very poor album. So that's that one. I'll move on to Phonograph. This is more of a paper rather than a magazine, and it's American. It was 50 cents. And this one I believe was 1974, yeah, July 1974, volume 4. So great picture of Bowie on the front. But the quality of the paper is very poor, so it's very difficult again to get one of these in decent condition. It's a bit crinkly, it creases easily down here and crinkles. But we have some great Bowie content in here, and you can see it's quite sort of thick paper, really. It goes very, very cream, very yellow, very easily. An article about his success. A whole series of pictures in here of him. Really difficult to keep this in good condition, I have to admit. I've had it a long time, but it's very difficult. And is David Bowie doomed to be the first martyr of the rock and roll 70s? So that was that one. Okay, so I'm going to go through just one more now. This is the Glastonbury Festival programme, the preview from the year 2000 when Bowie headlined Glastonbury. Bowie's obviously on the front cover here. And it's a Western Daily Press special publication. So this is our local newspaper in effect, producing something about Glastonbury. And it's a 32 colour page guide to the world's greatest festival, and there is the Bowie content inside. So David Bowie at Glastonbury, what's he going to do? What's he going to play? More to the point, who is he going to play? And a really good article about him in there, and it gives quite a timeline here from 1966 to 2000 about what he's done each year since then, and tells us about him. And there's a lot of talk about what he's going to play. I mean, they mention Hero, Space Odyssey, Gene Genie, all the normal sort of stuff, which of course he did play virtually all of that, so that's quite a nice thing. And I think we'll end this upload here, and again we'll be back in due course with more uploads, looking at my collection and particularly magazines and newspapers.